Good evening, it's June 5th, 2025. It's Thursday and we're in Studio 6A, and it's my pleasure and certainly my honor to be speaking with the true World War II combat infantry veteran named Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today, Mr. Jeckovich?
Very good, very good.
You're looking well. I heard you had your nails done and
Haircut?
A close shave with a professional razor.
Oh, I don't do that, no.
Did you have a good day then?
Yeah.
I heard you had a very special visitor.
Oh, yeah?
Who was that?
Who was that? Mary.
No, who came here today?
Amber.
Yeah.
Amber's here all the time, anyway.
She was here all day. Now tell me, what did you and Amber do all day?
Huh?
What did you and Amber do all day?
Yeah, she slept for us. She's got an infected nose.
Oh, yeah? So what did you guys do? Usually you do art or you do videos?
Well, we went to the art studio at the mall.
Yeah?
And they were doing it today.
Okay. But all in all, you had a good day.
Yeah.
Did you have a good dinner?
Yeah, we had a good dinner, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Did you hear all the lightning and thunder today?
Yeah.
It's been a heavy rain these last 2 days.
That's the first time I lost the sound.
Yeah, it hit pretty close to the building, yeah. Hit pretty close to the building.
We got to go to West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah. Calmer weather, cheaper prices. Beckley, West Virginia, buy yourself a mansion for 200 grand, yeah. Okay, let's see where we stand. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Yeah, boys and girls, remember this. It's a short dance around the sun. It goes by very, very quickly. Let me give you a good example of Mr. Jeckovich, what he said last month. He said, I blinked my eyes at 20, and now I'm 100, right?
Yeah.
True?
True.
It went by that fast. Like,
yeah.
Think about it. Where the hell did it go?
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of these
you can't remember what you did.
Yeah, a lot of these younger people, they think, you know, they'll be young forever, but hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. And by the way, if you're 30 or 40, you only have a 10% chance of ever making it to 100. It's a tough way to get there. Not too many people make it at 100. But Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925, and now we're in 2025, so he's knocking on the door at 100 right now.
Yeah.
Eternity,
yeah.
Huh?
Eternity.
Eternity, yeah. So, God, I wish I could explain more to the younger people that realize, appreciate every day, because this is an example. I never even thought that way until meeting Mr. Jeckovich, and he said he blinked his eyes at 20, and now he's 100. So make every day important, right?
Yeah.
Right? It goes by quickly. Wow. It goes by very, very quickly.
25.
Did you want to read the book, or you want me to do some reading?
You do reading, go ahead.
Mr. Jeckovich's book is titled Their Mother's Sons, and he wrote it many years ago. And when you wrote it many years ago, your beautiful daughter-in-law, Joanne, she had a book opening party, didn't she?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Wasn't that beautiful? She hosted it in a beautiful 3-story mansion in Eustis, Florida. It was called the Oaks. It was a former bed and breakfast converted to a house. And his daughter-in-law, Joanne, set up even a cake that resembled the front cover of the book.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. She had the full front cover of the sheet cake representing the front of the book. And that was at the Oaks in Eustis, Florida, an 1881 mansion with a basement and a guest house. The guest house is called a guest house today, but back in the day, they in these mansions they only cooked at a kitchen or a house that was outside the main house.
Yeah.
They didn't want the smells.
Yeah.
An interesting story. It reminded me when I was in the Oaks watching Mr. Jeckovich's book opening party. There was lots of newspaper stories about this colonel that built the mansion in 1881.
Yeah.
And one of the stories was in the guest house, which was the kitchen. It was set up as a Christmas cottage now. In fact, Joanne's mother lived there for many months. A nice, beautiful fireplace, a Christmas theme, and she thought that was the best place in the world, she told us. She just loved living in that Christmas cottage. Lots of acreage, lots of woods, nice pool, everything you needed in a big place. But I was reading in one of the newspapers back in the late 1800s, and this is how it said. It looks how times have changed. They said a young Negro boy was whipped, and they were proud of the fact. They weren't angry at the fact. The newspapers were proud of the fact. He was whipped and disciplined because from the kitchen that's outside the main mansion, he wasn't whistling when he brought the master his food. And why do you think that he was whipped for not whistling, the young kid, because when he was bringing the food in?
Yeah.
Why do you think?
Well, he was colored.
Yeah, but the reason why he was whipped, and the newspapers thought it was a great thing, not a bad thing. God, thank God how things have changed. Thank God how things have changed. The little boy was whipped because if he wasn't whistling, he was supposed to be whistling when he went from the kitchen all the way to the mansion when they deliver the family the food. Because if you're whistling, you can't be eating the master's food.
That's that. Oh.
Yeah, you see.
So he's not eating, huh?
Yeah, because if you're whistling, you can't be eating.
Yeah.
So thank God how things changed in that direction. And the horrible part of the story was that the newspapers thought it was a great thing the colonel did. Disciplined him so he'll never do that again. And back then, in 1881, the property was on a street called Lakeview, and it had lots of acreage, about 15 acreage. Today, in 2025, when we build a house, we have it right on the lake. But back then, in 1881, you were still 500 yards from the lake.
Yeah.
It's funny how times have changed. And by the way, as we discussed earlier, how inexpensive things were back in the day, in 1881, that mega mansion was built at the price of $2,800.
Yeah.
Including the purchase of the property. And around it there's some big churches. I think they're Baptist or Lutheran. They're big mega churches. And they were built at around the same time of 1881, and they were only built for a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
Now you can't even buy a damn permit for under $20,000.
You can't even get the altar leaves at all. No.
Yeah. So getting back to that was a beautiful grand opening party that your daughter-in-law Joanne did for your book warming affair.
Yeah.
That was so nice.
Yeah.
You're in a big 1881 mansion surrounded by this beautiful furniture, 150 years old, beautiful chandeliers.
Yeah.
Now that was nice. Now that was a nice book opening. But getting back to the book, we get a million questions about your book titled Their Mother's Sons. How much is the book and where can I buy it?
You can't buy it.
Okay. It's not about money. The book was written to give young people a roadmap to live a better life. And it tells stories from chapter 1 to the end about how young people could live a better life. It's a roadmap, so it's never about money. Mr. Jeckovich doesn't need a dime from anybody. It's about giving a younger generation a roadmap on how to live and ease your life. And isn't that just about what it is? It's example after example after example.
Yeah.
For example, you could text Mr. Jeckovich any questions you like at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. Ask him any questions. His mind is like a library. For example, ask him questions on marriages. See what kind of answers you get. How long were you married for?
69 years.
I guess this is the guy to ask. Mr. Jeckovich proposed to his wife, future wife I should say,
19 minutes.
Delphine Stulak in a Roman Catholic Basilica of Tonawanda, New York. She accepted his hand in marriage, and then they went over to the altar, kneeled down, and said a short prayer asking God to give them a long and happy marriage. How'd that work out?
69 years.
Prayer answered.
Yeah.
Tell us what you remember about your book opening ceremony in that beautiful mansion in Florida. What do you remember about it? Let's hear it from your words, not mine.
Oh, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us how
And
she...
there was a couple dogs in there too.
Oh, okay, okay. Did the dogs... Did you like dogs?
No, I don't like dogs. No. Dogs belong on the farm. This woman had 2 cats in her house.
Not there.
No, this woman, she was sitting with us tonight.
Okay. No, let's get off of that subject a minute. I'm talking, what's the good things you remember about being in that beautiful mansion for your book opening ceremony?
Yeah.
Tell us some things you remember.
Well, there were a lot of people there, and I was a little embarrassed.
Why would you be embarrassed? That was saluting you.
Yeah.
Not too many people could write a book, number one. And how many pages is this book?
849.
That's a hard job in itself. So why would you be embarrassed? That was beautiful. They were celebrating you. They were honoring the work you did.
Yeah.
Do you remember how all the books were lined up?
Oh, yeah.
How pretty it was?
The cake, they eat the cake.
And the beautiful cake that matches.
Yeah.
Geez, I could see that sheet cake today. What do you remember about dogs, though?
Huh?
What do you remember about dogs? Out of all that, how do you remember something about a dog?
There was a dog in there.
What was the kind of dog was it?
I don't know.
Uncle Steve, what did he have? Hungarian Vizsla?
Bislov, yeah.
Pirosh?
Yeah.
Was there one of those there?
Yeah.
You didn't like dogs at all?
No, the dogs were all on the farm.
Okay, but that house had 15 acres. Don't you think that was big enough for one dog?
Everybody stays in the house.
They keep you company.
Yeah.
So that was a good day for you then, right?
Yeah.
How'd your wife like it?
Delphi?
Yeah.
Oh, she wouldn't say nothing.
But how did she like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Delphine would never complain. I just remember you telling me a story about a wedding on some army base.
Yeah.
And they had one mean waitress for like 100 people, he said. And they're just slopping down. It looked like TV dinners or something, he said. It was like cordon bleu, they called it, which was unbelievably not cordon
That was
bleu.
the air base.
Yeah. But anyways, you were complaining about it. Of course, your wife would never complain. She said, Johnny, this is good.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
how she said that.
Delphi said it.
Yeah, Johnny, she would never complain.
No, she never complained.
And what'd your mother think about it, though?
She wanted to get out of there.
Yeah, your mother would complain, though, right?
Yeah.
She's yeah. So you remember anything else about your special book opening day, or?
Well, they fussed about it before that because they made that cake and everything.
Yeah, that was really something. You should have been very honored and privileged that they built the cake to match your book front page. Yeah, that was nice. And look, many years later, we're still talking about your book. So that was you did a great thing by writing that book. Oh, by the way, we know already discussed the book's not for sale, but we've done over 600 podcasts. You can listen to the book for free. Just start at the chapters and keep on reading them and going all the way down the line, and you can hear all about the different pages of the book. It took them Mr. Jeckovich, when he was 11 years old, his father was a legal immigrant from Russia, came here with one idea, to work,
Yeah.
to work hard, had 3 jobs to give his family a better life, and he died of a heart attack at 43. So this is where the book started. When his father, Marion Jeckovich, died of a heart attack at 43, a legal immigrant coming from Ellis Island, and this guy worked like a slave, 3 different jobs. When he was mixing cement, that was the end of it. He died right then and there,
Yeah.
43 years old. That's when the book started. So, he died at 43, the police come knocking on your door, they pick you up and take you to the hospital, then what?
I thought they were going to take me up to, I thought he broke his leg or something, but they took me down to the morgue.
Okay, let me just add here. The police came to your house, picked up an 11-year-old boy, and said, your father got hurt.
Yeah.
They dropped you off at the front door of the hospital, and you thought you were going to go upstairs, and your
Yeah.
dad might have broke his ankle or broke his wrist or something. So you walked into the hospital, then what happened?
Now I asked the attendant where my father was, he said, we'll take you down.
And what'd you think then?
I said, why am I going down?
Yeah, yeah. And then what happened?
Well, it took me down to the morgue.
And then what did you see there?
I saw my father lay down on the slab, little cement on his pants, little cement on his face.
Was his eyes closed?
Eyes are closed, yeah.
And then what did they ask you to do?
Go through his pockets.
Did they ask you first to identify the body?
Yeah.
And then what did they ask you to do?
Go through his pockets.
And what did you find in his
Can of
pockets?
Prince Albert tobacco, those papers that he rolled it up with.
Yeah. What else?
A bunch of keys for the house.
Yeah. You know, we get back, that's the greatest generation in the world. Here, his father came in from Russia, legally, followed every system to be a legal American citizen. He came here to work, and to work hard, to give back to the United States, to give back to his family, to build a better country, right?
Right.
And what's the first thing your father said when you guys were living at home about the language?
He said, we're not talking Russian or Polish, we're talking American.
So your father said, the past is the past. We're an American in the United States now. We follow that system.
Yeah.
Wow, what a difference. Those people that came in 100 years ago, they came to work. They came to contribute. And now what do we have now?
Bunch of freeloaders.
Aha. 20 million fucking freeloaders have come in, not to work, but to work the system.
Yeah.
Work the system. Work the system. Get this benefit, get that benefit, get that benefit, get this, and still bitching they don't have enough.
Yeah.
What a horrible situation. So now we got the best generation of ever that came into work to contribute to the United States, to work, to give, never took a thing from Uncle Sam. When now we have these 20 million bastards that come in to hand out. Hey, you want a small example?
Oh, they come in from all over the world now.
You want a small example of it? Try to go to an emergency room one time. They have all the illegals in there using that as a regular doctor. If they have a toothache, they're in there. If they have a scrape on their knee. And if you're a white male going in there with a serious problem, you can sit in the back. They're going to be way up there burning up your tax dollars and using that as a doctor's office. They totally screwed the system. Let's face the facts. The writing's on the wall. They're leaving, and they have to leave a lot more. You got to get rid of them. What a difference. That's what it came to think of. What a difference it was when your father came over. All they contributed. And these bastards don't give nothing back. Oh, no. They don't give. They just got your handouts. Free housing, free medical, free cell phone, free car, pay them so much. What a disgrace.
Then they complain.
Oh yeah, I want, let me give you an example. Your father said when we're in the United States we speak English. But they are saying, these bastards today are saying, I really don't like this food at this 5-star hotel. I want you to bring me the food that I'm used to in Ghana or anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
I want the food I'm used to. If you want to get the food you're used to back from your home
Go back
country,
home.
go fucking back home. Get the fuck out of here. So that was a nice point we made across, and I'm glad we had a chance to express ourselves on it. And did you have any other comments on it before I start asking a few questions?
Oh,
Did you have any more comments on anything before I ask a few questions?
yeah, go ahead.
How many minutes?
9.
Okay, you feel up to asking any
Yeah,
questions?
come on.
I'm looking at your papers when you were drafted. Why'd you wait to get drafted?
I was depending on my mother.
Okay, let me explain this. If you enlisted, you would have probably get a real cushy job during World War II, like your brother. He enlisted and he became an instructor of teaching young cadets to drive Jeeps, right?
Yeah, but he was in school.
But his end job was teaching young kids.
Yeah, I was driving Jeep.
Did he have some special driving talent?
No, it's a fire hydrant.
Yeah, okay. So Uncle Sam awarded him for teaching young kids. Now, if you wait, and you waited to get drafted for the main reason of taking care of your mother, right?
Yeah,
Extend the time to take care of your mother. When that happens, you're going to go on the front line. Your ass is going to go on front line, combat infantry. End of story, right?
well, they had a casualty. That was after VE Day. They had a big casualties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, how about you, for example? You were shot in the shoulder by a sniper. You were beat up. You were stabbed.
lost a leg.
Lost a hip. You were bombed. You still have shrapnel in your body. Trench foot frostbite.
Yeah,
Are you still suffering from frostbite?
oh, I got it right here now. Yeah,
80 years later. 80 years later. Yeah. And by the way, Mr. Jeckovich received many a medal as a teenage boy. He received the Bronze Star Medal, the Purple Heart Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, American Campaign Medal, European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal with 3 Bronze Stars, the World War II Victory Medal, Army of Occupation Medal with Germany clasp, Combat Infantry Badge, Sharpshooter Badge with carbine, pistol, and machine gun bars, Marksman Badge with rifle bar, and Honorable Service lapel button World War II. You worked the machine guns, heavy-duty machine guns most of the time, right?
yeah.
How did
Heavy
you,
weapons.
huh?
Heavy weapons, yeah.
How did you cool that barrel?
Antifreeze.
And water?
Yeah.
I heard one of your fellow soldiers accidentally grabbed the barrel. What happened?
Burned his hand.
Ah, how
I
bad?
got it right down the bone.
Yeah. When you were shot up, beat up, stabbed, wounded, bombed, they sent you to a hospital in Paris, right?
Yeah,
How long did you stay in the hospital in Paris?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah,
That's a lot of injuries. However, things are different. Were different then. You were still bandaged up,
yeah.
but they told you if your index finger could squeeze that machine gun
Fit
trigger,
for duty.
and if you could still walk, you're fit for duty, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you did.
That's what I did, yeah.
You're fit for duty. Wow, big difference today. Big difference today. That's why they call these guys the greatest generation ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they truly do. And I heard that during World War II you had a run-in with General Patton. What happened?
Oh, Patton was to go back. He wanted to go to the Pacific right away.
Yeah, but what happened when he caught you in this barn?
Caught us in a barn, rainy day, 3 o'clock in the morning, come and get your ass out, go to the next checkpoint right now. Go.
Yeah. And Mr. Jeckovich, when he went into the service, they were minutes?
5.
They affectionately called his division the Diaper Division. I'm saying this is a fact. They said it affectionately, the Diaper Division. How come?
They're all 19-year-old. They're all
Because they're all young
33s. They're all
kids.
33s.
Yeah, they're all young kids. And teenagers, in your own words, you're the best fighters, right?
Yeah.
How about if you're 25 or 30, what kind of fighter?
Rear echelon.
Yeah, they'd stick your ass typing somewhere.
Yeah.
Teenagers are the best fighters.
Yeah.
So anyways, the Battle of the Bulge was a very bloody battle. You got surrounded by hundreds of thousands of Nazis. 6,000 Nazi tanks in Bastogne, and you could not get air support due to the fact of weather conditions. You couldn't get paratroopers, you couldn't get supplies, you couldn't get air support to shoot down some of the Nazis. It couldn't happen. So they told you to keep Bastogne. If you give it up, what would happen?
We lose the war.
You'd lose the war, yeah. So as a result, Mr. Jeckovich and squadron, they kept Bastogne, but it was at a big price. 97% casualty. Blood everywhere. Guts everywhere. Body parts everywhere. Finally, supplies came in. But it's funny how the supplies came in. General Patton had 250,000 prayers about the size of postcards,
Yeah.
and he delivered them out to everybody.
Yeah.
Right? You remember?
During the war, yeah.
Yeah, he delivered about 250,000 numbers, praying, asking everyone to pray to let the skies open up so we can win this war. Without the skies opening up, we're gone.
Where were you, John, when you got that prayer? Where were you?
Well, I was in Bastogne.
Yeah.
Yeah, but were you outside reading it, or were you inside?
I never stayed outside. Never stayed
Inside, always outside.
Always outside.
So anyways, the prayer was answered on the 4th day. And then the paratroopers come dropping in by the thousands, supplies by the thousands of pounds, tons, air support, shooting up the tanks of Nazis. It finally ran the Nazis' asses back. Ran their asses back. They left a lot of tanks because the Nazis were planning on getting the fuel from the Americans. That didn't work too well.
Yeah, they were fighting for the fuel, yeah.
They
that was a big battle. That was a big battle for that fuel.
But
What was it like, John?
Huh?
That battle. What was that like?
What?
The one you were just
The
talking?
Germans wanted that fuel
they
dome.
wanted to steal the fuel from the Americans. That didn't take place. How many minutes?
3.
Okay, so anyways, 97% casualties. So no longer is Mr. Jeckovich's division called the Diaper Division. They have a new name, and appropriately so. They're called the Bloody Bastards of Bastogne. The Bloody Bastards of Bastogne.
In the Bulge.
97% casualties. The Bulge Busters are also go by. And after that, they ran the Nazis way back. Most of the Nazis at that time began surrendering, abandoning the tanks, abandoning their equipment. Shortly thereafter, Hitler committed suicide. But Mr. Jeckovich's job was not over with. Him and thousands of other Army soldiers were assigned to Holocaust camps and prisoner of war camps.
Yeah.
They had to break down the gates, break off the locks, and then save these guys. Some of these guys were like 200-pound
American soldiers.
American soldiers, heavy-duty fighters, down to 65 or 70 pounds. They couldn't even walk. And what were you instructed not to do?
Don't feed them. Don't feed them.
Why couldn't you feed them?
Because the system couldn't take it.
Yeah, how many minutes?
Minute and a half.
And all the townsfolk at the Holocaust camps, they lied to themselves. They didn't think those horrific things were taking place. Now you have, for example, I'll give you an example, in one of the Holocaust camps where the poor Jewish people were destroyed, tortured, in every way you can imagine. No, things you can't even imagine. And inside in these offices were the Nazi secretaries, and they had blinders on too. They didn't think of the torture that was going on right next door. And so these guys named these secretaries, they had blinders on, and allowing this to continue.
Well, the people in the villages,
People in the villages had blinders on too. They all denied it. But getting back to the secretaries, they're all big ladies because they're eating like hell while the Jewish people are chasing down a rat to eat. So they nicknamed them the fat fucks. The fat fucks. And they took all these fat fucks out and they showed them exactly what's going on and made these ladies, so-called ladies, help pick up some of the Holocaust victims and put them in a pile or take them here. And so they changed their mind real quickly when they found out really what was going on in there.
20 seconds.
The tortures were unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, some people don't believe it today.
No, it's all forgotten.
You saw it.
Your eyes seen it, yeah.
You saw it with your own eyes.
Yeah, well.
It's sad. 3 seconds.